Today on the Dissect That Film podcast, we are talking about the 1999 movie Lake Placid. To show some appreciation and honor to the late Betty White, that's why we chose today. So I hope you guys enjoy this show as much as we enjoyed recording it. And I hope you enjoy the little the treat that we all got to witness back in 1999 before this movie came into theaters. So see y'all in there. Let's go.
It has existed since prehistoric times. It was worshipped by primitive cultures. It can kill a man with one crushing bite.
We heard a man was bit in half.
Any recent bear attacks?
Bears don't attack people underwater.
Probably a fever then.
What was that?
Whatever's out there being shot with this, he's dead.
Oh no.
Sheriff, how many deputies you got?
You came here to help you find it.
We can't let him kill it.
Experience a few parts mystery
Do you have any theories why he's here?
Honestly, I don't know.
and a few parts missing.
It's a human toe.
Is this the man who was killed? He seemed taller.
Oh my God.
Bill Pullman,
Shoot him! No!
How much of a wacko is this guy?
Bridget Fonda,
Mother!
Oliver Platt,
Maybe he swam back out!
Maybe not. I just have this feeling everything's totally safe.
This summer, the Earth's oldest creature has just found a new home.
Whitney! Go under!
Lake Placid.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today, on episode 37 of the Dissect That Film podcast, we are talking about the 1999 creature feature, Lake Placid, in honor of the late, great, legendary Betty White. That's one of the main reasons why we chose Lake Placid for this week's episode. And as have other outlets that do the same thing that we do, because I think I've listened to like 3 podcasts this week about Lake Placid. Yes, I am Brett Parker. Over there are the wonderful people from DNA Gaming, Dan and Angela.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Oh, it's going. Lake Placid, our first film review of 2022. It's very exciting. We talked about like I just said, we talked about this last week, and we decided, since we lost Betty White before the start of 2022, literally right before the start of 2022, we needed to honor her by talking about probably one of her greatest film roles of all time, because
absolutely
she makes this movie so much better.
So fucking brutal, dude.
She's so funny. Oh man, I miss her so much. So we decided on Lake Placid. It's a movie I don't think I have talked about in detail since I was little. I remember seeing this, I think the year it came out on DVD and VHS back in like 2000. A funny story before we get into anything. So I had a grandmother who lived down in Florida, and the town next to where she lived was called Lake Placid. And when this movie came out, they did a big premiere at the local theater in Lake Placid, and they actually got alligators from the alligator farm that was in the next town over, and they dressed them up in little, bow ties and shit.
Oh yes.
And had him walk down a red carpet. I just remember getting that newspaper clipping from my grandmother when I was little, and it's just like it's always stuck with me.
That's awesome.
You know what else this movie was missing though? A Steve Irwin cameo. Wouldn't it have been great if he came in? Do you remember? Did you ever see Casper?
Yes, it's been a while, but yeah.
Which also stars Bill Pullman, who's in this movie.
Ironically.
In the beginning of Casper, you got Ray Stantz shows up from the Ghostbusters and comes in. He's like, yeah, okay, no, this is too much for me. I would have loved if Steve Irwin made a cameo and like came there and saw how big the croc was. He's like, yeah, no, I don't deal with crocs this big, and then just leaves.
That'd been good.
That'd have been great. That'd have been great. This was the start of like the croc mania. I know that there was a movie back in 1980 called Alligator, which was a movie I'd love to do on the show at some point, because they just released a 4K like special edition of that movie.
But better buy it now, dude. Limited print.
Oh, that's right. It's only limited. All right, I'll have to look into it. But yeah, this was like the start of like the crocodile like craze, like just doing movies based on very large crocodiles.
There were a lot of like around this like late 90s, early 2000s ish.
Yeah.
Killer animal nature.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's got a bunch of disaster flicks.
Very
like
popular.
Twister, Dante's Peak.
Yep.
Anaconda. Deep Blue Sea.
Well, this was made by some of the producers of Anaconda. Like this is part of the Anaconda. This was like a universe. This was like they were in the same universe, which doesn't make what? There's no links, nothing stating anything. But hey, guys, it's in the same universe as Anaconda. Which
could be why I enjoy the movie.
Which, if you want to buy Anaconda right now, it's $5 on Amazon.
As of the time of this recording.
As of the time of this recording, and it's been. I bought it last week. It's you got to get it for $5. You can't pass up a great movie. All right.
Right. I bought it too.
There you go. Look at us.
It's pre-wow Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Oh my Lord. So this movie premiered July 16th, 1999, and almost a year later in the UK. It premiered in March of 2000 over in the UK.
UK don't even know what crocodiles are.
8 months.
They don't even know what they are.
This was directed by Steve Miner, one of the co-creators of the Friday the 13th franchise, along with Sean Cunningham. So yeah, he directed Friday 2, 3, Halloween H2O, which he actually directed at the so he was supposed to shoot this film. This film got delayed, so he said so while he waited, he decided, I'm gonna go direct Halloween H2O, and then when this is all good, I'll be back.
Why?
I don't know. And Dan, he directed the 2008 Day of the Dead.
Oh,
one of the bad remakes of Day of the Dead.
I heard that's not good.
And also he directed the 1985 horror movie House, which is a horror movie that I've been hearing about in a lot of people have been talking, especially people who talk a lot about horror movies. House is a very popular movie. House and House 2. Don't really know what they're about.
What's this made again?
This movie?
No, House.
1985.
Interesting. That sounds familiar, but I don't know much about it. I don't think I know anything about that one.
And he actually makes a cameo in this movie. He's the pilot that flies her in to Maine.
Oh, yeah.
It was written by David E. Kelly, who is he's a big writer in TV. He did Big Little Lies, which is a show from a couple years ago. Ally McBeal, and the TV show, the Hulu show from this past year called 9 Perfect Strangers. So,
the Open New World logo.
So he
I remember the box art to the house, by the way.
Oh, with like the creepy, there's like a creepy hand, right? Yeah,
the severed hand. Yeah.
Special effects were done by, the practical effects were done by none other than Stan Winston,
the
man behind the practical effects in Jurassic Park and Aliens. He's a legend in the practical effects department. And the special effects, like the CGI, were done by the company that did the CGI for Titanic. That's about all I know. And when I watch this movie again, the CGI is not good.
They have the slightly smaller boats in this movie.
Yeah, the CGI. I mean, listen, I don't think the CGI ever looked good to me when I watched this, but I swear this past viewing, it just was like, wow, this looks bad. This looks like sci-fi CGI bad.
Oh no, I will backpedal and think that the special effects in this are slightly better than what they are in Bermuda Tentacle, and that is from 2014. So it's 15 years newer.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Special effects.
can somebody look up? Can we get a look up on the budget of Bermuda Tentacle compared to what Lake Placid did in 1999?
She'll work on it.
So the budget was between $27 and $35 million, and it only made $56.9 million. So it was not a financial success, even though yes, it did make more money than its budget. Still not a success. This movie has some fucking actors in it though, like actors who are still prominent today. You know, you have Bill Pullman, who is still, you know, he's still cranking them out. I mean, he had a freaking killer decade in the 90s with Independence Day. I mean, we just talked about Casper. It's not one of his like bigger roles, but like it was popular back in the day. What I'm trying to, now I'm going to blank on everything Bill Pullman's in.
Well, he was in, you said Casper, of course, and
Independence
he was in
Day.
Independence Day, and then he was in
Spaceballs, which was not 90s.
Lone Star.
Oh, guess what, guys? He was in the Independence Day sequel that no one needs to talk about. Let's see. Let's go to the 90s here. What else was Bill Pullman in? Why am I blanking? I feel like he was in so much.
A little fun fact while you're looking that up. God, this is going to sound convoluted as fuck because you just mentioned Spaceballs. My friend's wife, her sister went to school with Bill Pullman's son, and she met him.
Whoa. That's pretty crazy.
One of Hannah's sisters.
Yeah, I know which one it is.
Yeah, because he was in a play, and Bill Pullman was in the audience, and she was sitting just right next to him.
That's cool.
So she talked to him a little bit. I was like, that's pretty dope.
I ain't seeing much of it.
Well, I mean, it's a sci-fi original movie, so I doubt the budget is very good.
He was in The Grudge, the 2004 Grudge.
Was he?
Yeah.
Really?
I think he was the guy who owned the house.
Real movie.
Is the he was also in the Equalizer 1 and 2 with Denzel Washington.
The Denzel.
It's also starred Bridget Fonda, who is Hollywood royalty. I mean, her father is Peter Fonda, and her grandfather is another Fonda, that I can't think of.
What happened to her? She
married Danny Elfman and had babies, and then decided to retire. Well, I don't really know if that's the reason why she left Hollywood, but she did not do much. Her last role was in 2002, where she played the Snow Queen, Elsa, like pretty much in a like live action TV movie, I think it was. And that was it. I was like, that's it, 2002. So 20 years she has not been in a film.
So we were watching this, and I was like, why haven't I seen her in forever?
Okay, Henry Fonda is her grandfather. To everyone who would scream at me and be like, you don't know Henry Fonda? I do. I just blanked on his name. My apologies.
They'll get over it.
Yeah. But yeah, she married Danny Elfman, the composer of pretty much everything Tim Burton, the singing voice of Jack Skellington in The Nightmare Before Christmas. So, yeah.
I don't like it, and I'm terrified.
Okay, I'm coming up empty-handed.
That's okay. Clearly, it's not that important. No one wants to remember Bermuda Tentacles. I can guarantee everybody who was in that movie tries to forget that it ever happened. But speaking of sci-fi movies, this movie spawned 5 fucking sequels.
I had no idea until we were looking up.
Holy shit.
So I was looking for the Blu-ray. I had no idea there was more than one of these movies.
So the first sequel came out 8 years after the original.
Oh god!
And they were all right straight to DVD or just TV movies. You had Lake Placid 2, Lake Placid 3, and then it was like Lake Placid: The Final Chapter. Then there was Lake Placid versus Anaconda, and then they did one a couple years ago called Lake Placid Legacy.
Fucking hell!
We were pulling it up on Amazon Prime, and I was like, "There's a Lake Placid 3?"
Well, there's like 4 Anaconda sequels.
Yeah.
All I knew about was the first Anaconda, and then what? Blood Diamonds?
Blood Orchid.
Blood Orchid.
Okay,
Blood Orgy was my next pick, so I was close.
Oh man. Oh, it's to keep going. Oliver Platt. He's a popular actor, right? He's a popular guy. Is he in things? I don't know. He's been in a lot of movies.
I haven't seen him forever
either. But the one that I always forgot until I would watch it, I'm like, oh shit. fucking Brendan Gleeson is in this movie. And that man, of all of the people in this movie, I think Brendan Gleeson is probably the most famous of them all. Because he's still doing so much. I mean, he was Mad-Eye Moody in the Harry Potter franchise. He actually played Donald Trump in a movie like last year. I can't remember what the name of it is. And I believe Steve Miner, who actually is also a TV producer, he's produced a bunch of television, produced Brendan Gleeson in the Mr. Mercedes show, which is based on a Stephen King novel. I don't know what it's about, but I heard it's a very good show.
Oh, he was in Edge of Tomorrow. I need to see that too.
Yeah, he's been in a lot. And of course, we can't forget the amazing Betty White. Because again, she carries this goddamn movie and she's really not in it that much. But every scene she's in, she kills it. Just how brutal she is to everybody, and it's fucking awesome. Love it. I love it. She has one of the best lines in movie history.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's the one I have written down.
Yes, it probably is. And we'll talk about it when we get to that scene. But boy,
I laughed way too hard.
I've always been a fan of this movie. I'm going to say it, now, and I've probably said it before, even when I watched it as a teenager. It's not a good movie, but it's an entertaining as hell movie. It's stupid as fuck. There is literally no likable characters in this movie other than Betty White's and the crocodile. Like it got to the point where I was like, man, I really wish they just had it where the crocodile ate everybody except for Betty White. And then Betty White and the crocodile lived happily ever after, the end. But no, there is literally no main characters who die in this movie. None.
No.
It's all side characters that. Is this guy got a name? I don't remember. But they're pointless characters that are here just to be croc food.
Yeah. I disagree. I actually like Hank a lot.
I do too. But
none of them are great.
Hector sucks. I think I remember I think I liked him back in the day. And then I recently watched it and I was like, man, he fucking sucks. Like there's nothing redeemable about this dude. He's just a scumbag.
I like his and Hank's interactions with each other.
Oh,
the funniest thing was Brendan Gleeson trying to not speak British because I think he's Irish or Scottish.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna get and I feel like people are gonna get angry because I can't
Ireland.
Tell the difference. I can. Okay, I said Irish first, so I was right. So all of you Irish and Scottish people out there, sorry. But it was so funny because there were some scenes where like it like slips out. Like he says something and you're like, ooh, what was that?
There's some flair to
that.
Yeah,
what was that? This movie was only 82 minutes long. This was only an hour and 22 minutes long. This thing was it was like an episode of it. It was like an episode of a show. Just
perfect.
Just so good. Now, there's a lot of questions about why this movie is called Lake Placid, especially since the lake in this movie is not called Lake Placid. And they only make reference to it once. It's called Black Lake, which actually would have been a cool title if they, regardless of what they call it, if they called it Black Lake or Lake Placid. The reason it's called Lake Placid is because placid means calm. And literally because they talk about how there's like no, there's no movement in the lake. It's just calm all the time. Which that's what placid means. And that's why they were going to call it Lake Placid, but it was already taken, which is crazy that they didn't know that it was already taken when it's a huge like resort town in New York. That's called Lake Placid. I think there was Olympics that were there at some point.
I guess it's supposed to be like how the locals there, the humor of them somewhat being out of touch of anything outside of their town or area.
And also, I believe you probably could just name your lake anything. I don't think there's anything was like, oh, well, that state has that same name. And it's like, who cares? There's Springfield in every fucking state in this country. But
yeah, that's true.
Can't have the same name for a lake that only one person lives on.
Yep.
Oh boy, this movie. What a fun ride this was. I had to watch it on that DVD because I wasn't going to get the Blu-ray in time, so I never bought it. And I wasn't going to buy it like digitally because I owned it. I was like, fuck it. I'll watch the DVD. I put the DVD in my PlayStation 4 and I have a 65-inch TV in my living room and it literally takes up maybe 30 inches of my screen. I'm like, what is happening here? I am not watching this movie in like 30. It's this little tiny box in the middle of my TV. My wife's like, no, I am not watching this. Thank God there was a setting I could widen everything, so it was more like widescreen. Because boy, that would have been an interesting experience.
I'm curious what your wife thought of this movie.
I feel she's seen it before. She missed the end. She fell asleep at the end. But I just told her it was, you know, I don't want to say it now. We'll talk about it when we get to that point. But yeah, she passed out, woke up. She's like, "What happened?" And I told her, and she was like, "Okay."
Crocodile and he ate things.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, let's get to it. What did you guys think of this movie? Have you guys seen this movie before?
Yes, but it's been a long time.
Same. Very long time.
So there was a few things like I missed that the first time I watched it.
I didn't remember how the movie ended. I could not for the life of me think of the climax of the film. Or the beginning.
A lot of things that make no sense. That's pretty much how this movie ended.
Oh, absolutely. But it's glorious.
Oh,
and I couldn't remember the beginning until it started up. I was like, oh.
I love the music. The opening music is actually pretty cool. It's very suspenseful, and it was always something I didn't forget when it started playing. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. Go
ahead, you finish. You speak your piece. He has to have seen it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, seen it. I loved it. I mean, I remember liking it the first time. What?
I'm looking at you. You're talking. Anyway, I also enjoyed the movie. I actually have some fond memories of watching this with my grandmother, who's no longer with us. And she loved movies like these, and I love watching these movies with my grandmother. The movie, I actually love the writing in the movie. It's so ridiculous most of the times. It's fucking amazing. It's like, who wrote, like, it's not like, it's like the opposite of Ghostbusters 2016, where it was just shitty. It was just written horribly.
Yeah.
It's like they just had, whoever was writing the script just had way too much fucking fun.
Oh,
I just want to know who the guy who was the person, because it was a guy, 100%. There's no way
absolutely.
a woman wrote anything in this movie. Not even the woman's like dialogue. Like Bridget Fonda's dialogue is the worst thing ever. It's just terrible.
Her character's awful.
She's the worst character in this movie.
Oh, easy.
But whoever wrote for Hector, man, that dude was a horn dog, dude. Like he was writing that thing with his pants down. Like, what are you doing, bro? What are these lines?
One hand on the pen, another hand on his member all the time.
Like, what are
channeling his energy?
Like, he's dancing with the female cop. He's doing this dance, whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, what was?
And then he's like, "You have fantastic boobs," and I'm like, "What the fuck? You just met this woman."
Literally, the
so
definition
bad.
Of over the top, eccentric individual.
Listen. Oh no, sorry.
Hank flirting with the teenager
Oh my
or whatever.
God.
I'm like, what
Holy
the? You're a sheriff. You can't
But that's
do that.
But that's typical for characters, like in movies. Like they write things like that. That's how they do it. But the thing is I'm laughing. I don't want people to be offended because I'm laughing at like thing. You don't say that. Don't. If you're a man or even a woman, don't say those type of things to other people. It's not cool. I'm laughing because it's in a movie. It's not real.
So ridiculous.
And it's hilarious because it's so bad.
It's so random. It's so out of place. It's like, who the fuck says this?
It's one of those things where you're trying to. I feel like they could have made this movie so much more suspenseful and darker, but they just said, "Fuck it, we're making this a comedy." It's a comedy with a giant crocodile.
100% horror comedy right here.
I don't even know if I'd consider it horror. I don't think there's any parts of this movie where I was like, "Oh shit, what's gonna happen?" It made me laugh every time. Like
it's pretty predictable.
Like this, like when she feeds the cow to the crocodile, I laughed. I was like, "This is fucking awesome! This is hilarious!"
Know, right?
Just Betty White walking her cow down to the corner. That's the crocodile's just like, "I'm hungry."
Yeah, right.
I'm ready. Feed me. Oh man, what a fun movie though. Like this is definitely you just accept it being bad, but it's so entertaining.
And like you said, it's entertaining, like you said, but it's not even bad in a bad way. Not even because like a movie can be bad and just bad, but still be entertaining.
Yeah,
but it's charming. It's a charming film,
right?
Just I think it's still not a good movie.
No,
but it's fun. It's a short movie. And if you just want a little bit of blood and guts and some really zany writing with no titties though. So you can't get mad at that.
No, this was PG. This was PG-13, so you weren't getting titties.
Was it? I thought this was R.
No, this is PG-13.
Where the fuck was I?
Unless, oh wait, I might be wrong.
Parent.
No, it was R. Sorry, I'm thinking Anaconda was PG-13.
Yeah, and Anaconda was PG-13. Because I was like, wait, we could have watched this with the kids. I was like, wait a minute.
No, they said, yeah, because they say fuck a lot.
That's true.
And I think in PG-13, you can only say fuck once.
At one time.
But yes, I love the movie. I still love it. I loved it then. I love it now. It's a fantastic creature feature from the late 90s.
The funniest thing is, like, I look at the IMDb, the cast list, and it's like, who the fuck are all these people? I see like Bridget Fonda, Bill Pullman, Oliver Platt, Brendan Gleeson, Betty White, and it's like, who the fuck is everyone else? The only one I can recognize is Meredith Salinger, because she's the female cop, the one that he flirts with.
Mariska Hargitay.
Oh, and Mariska Hargitay too, who's in it for literally 3 seconds.
What is she in?
Law and Order SVU.
That's what it was. I was like, why do I recognize her?
Literally, she's in this movie for 3 seconds.
That's true.
But Meredith Salinger, she's actually married to Patton Oswalt, the female cop.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the guy who plays Kevin, the shitty boyfriend who cheats on Bridget Fonda with Mariska Hargitay, he's Alan Arkin's son. You know what Alan Arkin is?
Doesn't ring a bell.
He's an actor who's been acting for like 60 plus years. He's actually the guy who plays Kevin is uncredited in this movie. He doesn't even pop up in the credits.
Well,
because he's another one who's in it for like 2 seconds.
Let me just throw this out here. That's not the way I would go about it personally, but if I was dating Bridget Fonda's character, I wouldn't want nothing to do with her either. I would just cut her loose as soon as you can, but not that way. She's a horrible person.
She just treats like she literally goes to this town in Maine, which for one, if you work at a museum and you work with prehistoric creatures, you know, and your boss tells you to go to Maine to study a tooth, like, no. I'm not fucking going there. Why can't they send it here? I'm not going to fucking Maine. Yeah, I would have been the same thing. I would have done the same thing. I would have been like, no, I don't care. You're my boss. I'm not going to Maine.
I don't get it. That part, like even the movie pokes fun at it. Like, what are you doing here?
The whole time they do it way too much. What are you doing here? Why are you here? The museum doesn't send people like you here. This movie's bonkers in every way, shape, and form. And
Captain Kangaroo too.
And boy, oh boy, is this movie just this is Jaws with crocodile. This is literally, there's so many Jaws like references and things. It is the music, the opening music as like you see the underwater shots. It's Jaws. It's legit Jaws. And the diver in the beginning is just Chrissy because he's the start of it all, of why everything, you know, happens.
That poor scuba diver.
Oh my God, that was brutal.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm doing a...
Hold on, everybody. For all the audio listeners, and you're wondering why the pause is so long.
No. I'm going...
Don't worry, I'll edit it out, everybody.
Yeah, please. If I remember correctly...
You can hear the wheels going.
I know, it's the grease. It's like... It finally caught, and until it'll lock up in a minute. But... only people who die in this movie are officers of some kind. They work for Parks and Rec, sheriffs. I can't think of anybody else that dies on screen that is just like a random regular civilian.
No, it's not. It's for the sheer fact because no one really goes there.
Yeah, which makes sense.
And it's always somebody who's with the sheriff. Like the sheriff just witnesses all the death. All the death.
All of it.
Like the other thing I want to talk about is the sheriff has no emotion. He watched a man get chopped in half, and when he pulls him out, he's just like, oh. Like, I feel like there should be a little bit more reaction to pulling a half a body out of the water who's still alive in some way. And then your deputy gets his head chopped off. Nothing there. Like even when him and freaking Hector are having their conversation about, you know, he's trying to like be sentimental toward the fact that his deputy gets his head. He's like,
a good guy.
It was a good guy. Yeah. I was like, this conversation is so bad. This is the worst.
What?
And the amount of times you have to hear the same things over and over again. Like she gets the moose head thrown at her. She slaps the shit out of the sheriff, and the sheriff does nothing about it. He just assaulted a police officer.
I'm tired of getting heads thrown at me.
Yeah, and then she had the other head thrown at her. It's
Yeah.
just
Well, she slaps him twice. He tells her to stop. Like, what else are you to do?
And
like,
also-
tackle her to the ground.
And also, how is Bill Pullman in charge? How is he in charge? He's fishing
I have no-
game.
Apparently, it supersedes sheriff
Okay,
in that state.
sure.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know. I don't know
Whatever.
how that works in Maine.
This movie is absolutely bonkers.
It's so
It's
bonkers.
so bonkers. Oh boy, let's get to this plot, shall we?
Yeah, Mom, you ready?
Let's go.
All right, this movie opens to some awesome music. I love the music, as I stated before. Very Jaws-like. We get the title card. And we're underwater. And after everything happens under the water, we then go up to a boat where we meet Sheriff, what's his name? Hank something. I know what his last name is in the credits, never mentioned in the movie, so I don't need to say his name. His name is
That's
Hank.
fair.
Actually, throughout my notes, he was just the sheriff because I never heard his name for a bit. He's having this weird conversation with the diver. Like there's always everybody's sarcastic. Is that like a sarcastic? And you could tell you could tell he's British by the way, or you could tell he's from the UK based on what he says, or he's Irish. And the way he says things, like he calls people like he's a mental. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody be called that. Like you just say that person's mental. He's a mental. Or he talks about sarcasm. He's like, is that a sarcastic? And you're like, what is that? Who says that? Is that an Irish way of saying like
They're like, dude,
being
just do your
sarcastic?
thing. Just talk how you want to talk, but not with an American,
To be honest,
Northeastern American accent.
Movies have done it before where they have somebody from, from another country who, they have a very thick accent. Just keep the accent. Just come up with some backstory that he moved to the States and became a sheriff in a small town in Maine. Who cares? But instead you had to have Brendan Gleeson try to have an American accent, and it didn't go well.
No.
It did not go well. And I apologize to my to the Irish audience out there for me comparing you to the UK. I know you guys get angry about that. Holy shit. So the diver goes in. It's more of
tag beaver.
Yeah, he's going to tag beavers. And we get this really weird conversation on the boat about how fishing game just doesn't like the sheriff's department or something like that.
Yeah.
The diver
one word sarcastic answers.
Yep. The diver goes in, and Hank just decides to go ham on some Twinkies. Like he is going ham bone on some Twinkies. And he hates sarcasm. Everybody just gives him sarcasm. He just doesn't like it. Stop it. And we see the diver go into a beaver, a dam. What's a beaver's home called?
Damn.
No, the dam is what they use to block the river.
I don't know. A beaver hauler?
I live somewhere where beavers are prominent, and I just can't think of it. A hut. I think it's a hut.
Beaver nuggets.
Beaver nuggets.
That was one of the search thing. Beaver lodge.
Beaver lodge. There we go. Thank you. So the diver goes up to the beaver lodge, which is really cool because the entrance is under the water. So it's very a lot of protection. And I think he's just, I don't know what the fuck is he trying to tag beavers?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what he's supposed to do.
So he's up there, and I'm like, why don't you just kind of put your entire body out to try to grab these beavers? Instead, he's doing the thing where he's under the water and he just puts his arm through it. He's like, where are the beavers?
Well, between you and me, I would not want to be attacked by a beaver.
No. I would rather be attacked by a beaver than what this man's about to be attacked by.
Absolutely. Do you notice how clear the water is?
Yes, in a lake in Maine. It's that clear. There's a lot of soot on the bottom of those lakes that you literally a little bit of something kicks up and it's fucking cloudy for days.
I mean, and it's called Black Lake for a reason.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's Black Lake until you're underwater. Then it's surprisingly clear lake.
Yeah. And it's a swimming pool.
Yeah, clearly.
Kelly makes a comment about how dark the water is.
Yep.
Is it Pirates of Dark Water? Are we gonna make that reference today? That's obscure as fuck, dude. Dude.
Oh man. And as he's like reaching around, you can see like things moving in the back, which you won't know what those are until later on in the movie. Or if you're, somebody who's seen this movie a few times, you kind of pick up what that is. It's not a beaver, everybody. Those are baby crocodiles. And
that would make sense.
yeah,
Actually, I didn't even think about that being correlated to something that happens later.
yeah, that's why the crocodile attacks him, because he's getting too close to the nest.
I just thought it was nom nom time.
I mean, probably this thing's 30 feet long. It needs a lot of food to sustain itself. And we get the really cool beaver shot where the beaver jumps out. It's literally a stuffed animal that they just kind of put on a line and just shoots through the water. It looks so bad.
Does not look as good as the bats in Day of the Dead, though.
No, nothing will beat the bats of the Day of the Dead. Just, okay, guys, ready? 1, 2, 3, throw them on the line. This one was on a fishing line. Somebody just had to reel the beaver.
Yep. I love it.
The diver is looking a little too close to that nest, and then we get a mama monster is not enjoying how close he is. And he gets attacked, and you get a really cool, it's a very Jaws-like shot where it shows him getting pulled out, and you don't see the crocodile at all until they get to the boat. And he's fighting, and the sheriff is fighting or trying to pull the body in, and you get like the flashes of the side of the crocodile's mouth, and you're like, well, we didn't need that shot. Make it, so we don't know what it is automatically 5 minutes into the movie.
Yep.
Make it unknown. Like, what the fuck is in this lake? Until you get to the point where you're like, it's a giant ass crocodile.
Yep.
Come on, man, Steve Miner. You clearly watched Jaws. You pretty much remade the movie.
Right. I do like some of the shots they went for in this, where the diver comes up, but he's got his respirator on still.
Yeah.
So the Hank can't hear him because he's a little ways away from the boat.
Yeah.
And he looks away, and then he gets pulled back under. And when he looks back, he's already pulled back under. And then the tank floats up.
Yeah.
Strapped with the respirator, and then he gets shoots out of the water.
So
tries to pull him out of the boat.
So I'm gonna be Mr. Scientific guy here because I grew up loving crocodiles. I watched Crocodile Hunter all the time. I was obsessed with crocodiles when I was a kid. If there's a 30-foot crocodile in a lake and it's attacking something, there's gonna be a lot of splashing and waves being created by this thing because it's 30 fucking feet long. And yeah, all you see is the guy. The only splashing is from the diver doing that. Right. Nothing else.
And crocodiles, they like to roll when they bite chunks off of things.
Yeah, so you would have seen, you would have seen at least the top of the mouth. This thing,
absolutely.
If it's a 30-foot crocodile, its head is probably 4 or 5 feet long or more. So that thing, and you'd see the top of the snout coming out of the water. You'd probably see the underbelly as it's doing the death roll.
Oh yeah,
because crocodiles don't. I don't think they eat underwater. I know they will drag. They take their prey and they'll drag it to the bottom and drown them.
Yeah,
but
because they're badass.
Dude, crocodiles are fucking awesome. It's literally they're dinosaurs. Literally,
they're not dinosaurs.
They are. They are dinosaurs.
Everybody says that. Everybody says that. You realize that reptiles predated dinosaurs? So get out of here. It's not a dinosaur.
That's what make you so angry. Dinosaurs still walk the earth, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, they're called birds.
Fuck your chickens.
I like my chicken. She's a nice lady.
She is nice.
Oh man, we get the man gets pulled out of the water and it's only half a body.
God, you're surprisingly light today.
And
oh shit.
And I really like the effect of the body as it's being drained of the blood, and you can just see him turn pale white, and it just looks like a deflated balloon.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
It's really cool.
Good effects. Good effects work.
Yes, the practical effects are great in this film. The CG, not so much.
Not so much. This is not aged.
No,
well, I don't think it aged. Period. Like, there was no aging. Like,
don't worry, guys. You think the CG in this movie's bad? I've seen one of the sequels to this. It does not get better.
Oh God.
We'll have to do some commentary tracks on the really good sequels to this film.
I'm gonna make an unofficial Lake Placid 7 or whatever number they're up to. We'll just go one after it. Why not?
Oh man. This is where we meet Bill Pullman's character Jack Wells. He is I'm guessing, the head of Fishing Game. He's there to help figure out what the hell's going on here. And then we cut to New York and we meet Bridget Fonda, and she works at a museum. She's playing with fossils. And her boyfriend, well, as of right now, it's her boyfriend, needs to talk to her. And then you don't see the conversation. You just cut to the next scene where she's hyperventilating as she's doing something in front of her. And then her friend comes in. Good old, how do you say her name? Mariska Hargitay?
Yeah.
Okay. I did it, guys. And she's coming in because she is, you feel like she's her friend. She's going to comfort her during these tough times. But guess what? She's the other woman.
Oh, no.
I had inside information. Oh, my God. What a scene.
She's really bad at selling this story. There's like a million other things they could have said at this point. I mean, you're already having an affair with the dude. You might as well just lie about it.
Yeah. She's, Kelly, her name, Bridget Fonda's character's name is Kelly. She gets called into her boss. So her boyfriend is her boss, which is just, it's great when you mix business with pleasure, right? Is that what you say?
Yep. It's a quick way to the top.
Don't fuck where you work.
Break out the promotion pads.
There's another one. So yeah, he is like, they found a tooth fragment up in Maine in a dead body, and we want you to go take a look at it. And she's like, I play with dinosaur bones. Why do I need to go to Maine to look at a tooth? Why can't they just send it here? And he's like, because you do. You gotta go. And you're like, whoa, there, big baby. I'll go.
Go the fuck out, God.
And then it shows, she's like, I am not going to Maine. And then the next scene is her flying into Maine.
Again, very predictable. But we all see that coming.
And again, the pilot of this plane is Steve Miner, the director. I just said that. Pelly. I'm gonna call her Pelly now. Kelly determines the tooth is reptilian, and boy, that body is in rough shape. I love how she's like, I can handle seeing a dead body, and then they take the thing off, and it's like,
she's like, I've been dealing with worms.
oh my God,
That's
she is
literally-
just
Oh,
the
no, it's the-
worst.
Oh no! What was the first thing she did? Wasn't she like spraying her whole?
No, she can't go to Maine because she's allergic to timber.
Oh yeah.
For one, she was spraying Raid on herself. That's not
Yeah.
what Raid is for.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It just shows later on in the movie she dies because she's inhaled too much Raid.
Right?
Maybe that's
What
why
happened to
she's
Kelly?
so-
Right.
She was cut from the team. I'm sorry.
Pilot was
Thank you. I am glad. Thank you.
the pilot was trying to have a nice conversation with her, and she's like, "Don't talk to me."
I know. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, kudos for at least being honest, but why the hell you gotta be rude about it?
Oh man. Yeah, she's ruthless to all the people in this town. She just sucks.
She's got a stick so far up her ass,
And then,
I swear.
So yeah, we have that conversation. Kelly meets Jack. They have a pleasant conversation, and this really ditzy, girl comes out. She's like, I heard somebody died on the lake. And the sheriff, who is, 40 years older than her, is like, oh, it was just an accident, baby. Don't worry about it.
He like gets close to her.
Yeah, I was like, and I love
Really
the
gross.
one thing I did like about Kelly is that like while that's happening, she's just looking at him like, the fuck are you doing? Oh man, this movie's fucking great.
It's all about shitting on them small town local folk.
Yep, everybody's hard on that museum chick. She's just trying her best. All right, she doesn't want to be here. Good old Miss. We get to meet good old Mrs. Bickerman, played by Betty White. And boy, is she just fucking a spitfire this whole time.
Oh yeah, she is.
She's awesome. And she literally admits to killing her husband, which is just great. And she's just like,
really bad at it.
she's like, I killed him. Or what happened to your husband? I killed him. Or no, she says that he died, and they're like, well, there's no report of that. And she's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I feel like it didn't need to be reported. No one ever comes on this lake. So, but then she says that she killed him, and then she says that he was sick. He wanted her to do it, and she knocked him out with a skillet and buried him by the bulkhead.
Yep.
And then I love where you can go dig him up if you want, Sherlock.
Yes. Oh God, it's so good, dude.
Damn, she's so good.
Sheriff gets shit on this whole fucking movie, dude.
He's just
whole
he's
movie.
literally just a punching bag.
Oh yeah.
We get Kelly, the sheriff, and Jack. They go out on a boat to, I guess, just kind of investigate the lake. And that's where they have the conversation about, Kelly's talking about how calm and dark, black the lake is. And that's when the sheriff's like, well, we were going to call it Lake Placid, but we found out it was taken. So it's just Black Lake, which Black Lake just sounds so much fucking bad. It sounds better. This movie could have been Black Lake. Wouldn't have made any difference.
Dude, make a sequel. Do like they do nowadays in horror movies. Make a sequel that ignores all the other sequels, direct follow up to this one, and just call it Black Lake.
Oh yeah, can we bring back all the original cast?
Well, as many of them are alive.
Well, except for Betty White.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can just say like, you could put her, send her out with a big bang, freaking Croc got her too.
The baby. Well,
Yeah, they carried
later.
They carried her off like in a Viking funeral. They just she just laid on the backs of the crocodiles as they floated out into the middle of the lake.
And then they set all the crocodiles on fire. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh boy, I don't even know what the fuck I am.
They're on the boat talking about.
Yeah, they're talking about the lake, and they see something like, "What is that? Is that a tree branch?" And then literally the sheriff one arms this bitch, this moose head that probably weighs fucking 100 pounds, just. And then, of course, Kelly thinks that the sheriff threw the moose head at her. So she just slaps the shit out of him. And he's like, I just dropped it, you crazy bitch.
Yeah, I know. He's like, I just let go of it. Stop throwing heads at me.
Oh, boy. Kelly finds out she's got to camp at a tent. That's where she meets the female cop, which I don't even know what her name is. All I put is that she's married to Patton Oswalt. That's about the most information
I
I've
have
got.
a name.
Does she? I don't remember it.
Sharon Gare. Deputy Sharon Gare.
Okay. Did they ever say her name?
Probably not.
Okay. We get another argument between Kelly and Bill Pullman about why she's there. And it's like, how many times do we need to have this conversation?
And she thought camping out was staying in a Ramada Inn.
Yeah. Yep. But no, she's got to be in a tent.
She's got a thing with ticks.
And as they're having this argument, we hear a helicopter fly in and she's like, oh no. Oh, it's him. It's who I thought it was. Hector Sear. He's a mythology professor, and he's like a croc guru, and he's here to help find this croc. And everybody's like, why do you think it's a crocodile? And he's like, I just have that instinct, I could smell it. They should have just added that into the movie. That doesn't actually happen, but whatever. And Hector and the sheriff's relationship starts out great. Just... It starts out so good because Hector, so they go out on canoes a little later and Hector just calls the guy fat. And I'm like, Hector, you're the same size. I don't understand why you're calling him fat.
I love the build up to that. He's like, Sheriff, listen, I know this is something that's a lot easier for people to hear from friends and family, but I think it's just important to be blunt with people. You're fat. Good God, Hector. Dude, Hector and Hank have the best lines in the movie, by the way. Like, there's a bunch we haven't talked about the feminine napkins.
Oh, right.
She's like, oh,
she's sarcastic, rude. You two will get along great.
Yeah.
Carry on.
But yeah, you get Hector with his awful lines of like very sexual lines.
Oh yeah. He's also got some shitty lines. Yeah. Hector.
Yeah. He talks about how he has to announce that he slept with Kelly. I mean, we don't know if it actually happened, but he has to like throw it out there. And then we get the fat line. And then we see the fish. There's fish. They're jumping out. They're doing some crazy stuff. And they're like, oh, what are they doing? Are they feeding? And Jack goes, no. When they do that, it's because they're scared. And they're like, oh no. And then what happens? The canoe flips. Everybody's scared, Kelly and the sheriff are in the water. And all it does is it cuts to the next scene.
They pull him out. They get him up out of the boat.
Yeah, they get him on top of the other boat that's capsized.
Yeah, then they start pulling him over to the end of their boat.
But still, there's a 30-foot crocodile in this lake that could easily just destroy everyone in the matter of seconds. And instead we get the boat flipping and then we cut to her on the phone, talking to somebody about, what's going on.
Red herring, dude. It's a false jump scare.
But there are so many more minutes they could have added to this movie by
I know,
extending
I
that
know,
scene.
I know. This is the first time she falls out of a boat, by the way.
Yep. They discover a toe in the woods, and this is also another thing where you're like, you find a severed human toe in the woods, you probably should, put it in an evidence bag, classify, get it
Pass it off.
yeah, and bring it. No, instead, Hector just holds it in front of the sheriff. Is like, "Is this your friend?" And he goes, "Well, he seemed a lot taller." What a fucking line!
Is this the man that was? This is the man that was attacked. Yeah, that's so good, dude. It's so fucking good.
They're just playing with this dead man's toe. No respect. There's no respect for the dead in this movie. No one cares.
Especially
It's your toe. I'm gonna tickle you with it. Let me pick your nose with it. What the fuck is happening? We get a tent party where Hector's just having a grand old. Everyone's just drinking, partying. This is where you get the weird dancing with the female cop, and he's like, "You got nice boobs," and you're like, "What? What a line!" And she's just like, "Thanks." I'm like, "What is this?"
This is all the stuff
you got. Bad.
This is the stuff you got from Friday the 13th. This is where it's
yeah, that's right. He is a Friday the 13th creator, so you gotta have stupid shit like that.
Oh yeah.
And the sheriff comes in, stops it all, and we also get the great Hector line of he tells the girl to go, and Hector's like, "Well, can she stay? We were planning on mating." And I was like, "What a fucking line, man! What the fuck?"
That's how you get it. That's exactly how you get in the pants.
Oh,
like that.
Holy shit, man.
And
also he finds his other deputies fucking digging a hole outside of the tent because it's it's a trap, I guess. They're helping make a trap, and he paid us. He's like, "Oh, you're accepting money from him now."
We took a check.
Yeah, we took a check.
That's like, okay, that's better.
Yeah,
man.
better.
The guy, one of the cops, the one who gets his head bit off, I think his name is Burke.
Yes, it's Burke.
I'm trying to I recognize him from other things. Oh, okay. He was the recruiter in Deadpool. Remember the guy who goes around and recruits Wade Wilson? He was like the dude with the sharp suit, and then yeah. He was that guy.
At least he moved on up.
Yeah. So
I don't know what else.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw Deadpool. I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember him." We then go to Kelly and Jack have another conversation because we need more of this. And she explains why she's really there, pretty much because her boyfriend cheated on her and her boyfriend needed her out of the way. And so he sent her to Maine. And she just said, "Sure, I'll go to Maine." This guy sucks.
Why she's here?
You suck, Kevin.
10 out of 10 boyfriend material.
No. The sheriff is, we then cut to the, more at night where the sheriff he needs to take a pee. And so he wanders out in his undies. And somehow he's still got his gun holstered to his hip though. And he goes out there, he takes a piss, and he hears something rustling in the woods, and he uncovers fucking Hector just standing
Jesus, there. I could have shot you.
and then we get the really, the comments back and forth about the sheriff's dick and all that.
He came at me with his wang. I was scared. I was like,
oh man. We also get some awesome. You ever noticed how Bill Pullman delivers some of his lines where he's very stern? Yeah, he enunciates things. Sir. Did you hear that? Yeah, oh man, the amount of times he did that was just like, wow. I think Bill Pullman thinks he's in a different movie. He's still all juiced up from the Independence Day speech.
I had to have been. That's a great speech.
Oh, it's one of the best speeches in movie history. Kelly explains that Victor is obsessed with crocs because he encountered a crocodile one time and he survived the encounter, so he thinks he's immune to them and he worships them as gods.
Yep.
I don't know of from my little research I've done on crocodiles, I don't know many places that actually do worship crocodiles as gods, other than I think Egyptian culture did.
Egypt does for sure.
Yeah. But they made it out like every culture did. It was kind of weird, that whole conversation. I don't know.
Well, it's probably referring to a lot of older more like further back cultures that we're not
Yeah.
as familiar with.
That makes sense.
Especially places where crocodiles are more crocodilians are more prominent, I'm assuming. I don't know how, Native Americans in the Southeast and stuff took to crocodile or alligators and crocodiles because there's an American crocodile.
Yep.
I have no idea. Oh, but then the sheriff also falls in a booby trap.
Yep. I was
Which is fucking
was
great.
about to get to that. Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
damn it! I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
took
no,
your
it's
thunder.
okay. It's all right. We got there.
It was like I don't even know. Did they was there a cut when he fell in, or was it literally?
No,
the
it was
actors
right.
falling in?
It was right after like they all break up, and the cop just walks right into it.
Whoop,
He just falls
into
right
it.
into it, and everybody's reaction is, "Oh."
Like nobody's.
This dude could have snapped
Okay.
his fucking leg in there or something, and everyone's like, "Oh, all right. Good night, everybody."
Isn't the only thing? Doesn't the sheriff just go, "Damn it,"
Yeah,
like or
pretty
"damn"
much,
or something
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
It's so good.
It's time to go find a croc. And we get some more weird jokes from Hector. Yeah, so they're on the boat. Hector's making, his weird things. And Jack is yelling. Like, everybody's within, like, 2 feet of each other. And Jack's like, all right, guys, we're going to go down into the water. You're like, Jack, fucking simmer down, dude.
We're all in the same boat.
Why
dude. It
are
ain't
we
that
yelling?
big.
We're right here.
And we get the line that always baffled me every time I heard it. It's when the sheriff says something to Hector, and Hector says something about biting.
Oh no, I got this.
Yes,
I
do
got
it.
this.
Dan, take it away.
He says, I know I could have brought a pork chop. You could have hung it around your neck for good luck. And he's like, "Oh, that sounds like a good time, Sheriff. And when we get back, you could chew the bark off my big fat log."
Yes.
I was like, "Okay." And like the sheriff just looks dumbfounded by what he just said. He's just like,
oh God, we're not dissecting that.
"Oh, it's
that
so
line."
Is that a gay joke?
No, he's like, "Was that a homosexual comment?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's like,
Yes.
and what's her name? Kelly looks around like,
I don't know. Don't fuck it, that means. Jesus Christ, man. The fucking this script is fucking wild, dude.
Whoever wrote this had to have had a hell of a time writing it.
Oh, dude, he was probably fucking drunk out of his mind. This is fucking great.
I wonder if, like, during some of these lines, if Brendan Gleeson's just like, "I'm getting paid for this, right?"
Oh shit. So yeah, so we get that beauty of a line. They go down, Jack and Hector, they go down to try to find the croc or whatever the hell is in the lake, because nobody believes it's a crocodile except for Hector.
Yes.
They discover the moose carcass on the bottom of the lake that is like,
yes,
that's like gutted, which the crocodile would have eaten that thing whole. Like it wouldn't have left it like that. It's just not how crocodiles work. Or it just kind of killed it for sport. It didn't actually want to eat it, even though it is a 30-foot croc and they do need a lot of food. But once they eat a lot, they don't need to eat for a very long time. Crocodiles have very, very slow digestive systems, and they're cold-blooded.
Yep.
Which also makes no sense. So they explain. We'll get to that when we get to discovering what is actually in the lake. They see that Jack sees a tail go around the corner. You see like the tip of the tail.
Oh, by that suspicious looking fucking tree stump that's down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of just trees under there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes after. So you see a giant crocodile tail, or what you think might be something, and what's your immediate reaction?
Not go towards it?
Go. No. You go towards it. You find out what that thing is.
Oh, I forgot we're a bunch of white people.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Carry on.
Yep. White people decisions.
Yep.
Always poor.
We should split up, dang.
Yeah. Something pulls the boat back, and Kelly falls out of the boat again. She's just getting wet.
Again. Yep.
And we get a very tense rescue scene where she's just floating there. Do you think you would try to swim back towards the boat? No, she's like, "Help me, somebody help me."
I wonder if it was the whole like not flailing thing.
But yeah, but no one knows it's a crocodile.
I know.
So it's just like, if in actuality it would have they would have fell into the lake. Are we stopping?
No, I was doing just crocodile.
I thought that was like, oh, hey, we need a break. We need to stop.
No, just crocodile.
So yeah, you fall into the lake, and your immediate thing is maybe I should swim towards the boat as it comes towards me, so I can, be a quicker rescue. Instead, I'm just gonna sit there like, somebody help me, somebody help me. Yeah, and you see the fish splashing in front of her, and you're like, oh shit, and they can't get the boat started, and you're like, ah, it's really tense. And then the boat, it's one of those things where it's immediate, like right as something's about to happen, the boat starts. They go over, they pull Kelly out.
Right. Yeah.
And also, you think the crocodile's coming up, but instead it's Jack. And then they're like, "Where's Hector?" Oh, I don't know.
Like we lost. We got separated.
We got separated. Like,
Which totally sounds like as far as the movie goes, totally sounds like something Hector would do because he's so eccentric. Oh, I see something. I'm just going to ignore my other guy that I should be with the whole time.
Yeah, and the funny thing is like when the boat is going, they have the first thing they do when they get out there is they put a speaker down there that emanates baby croc noises to try to attract a crocodile, because Hector's the only one who thinks it's a crocodile. So they're like, well, we'll test it out. We'll see. And they go, and it's crazy because it's in the water when the boat is driving, which most likely might have ripped it off the boat.
You would think.
Because of how fast they were going.
Yep.
But once Jack and Hector are back on the boat, they're like, oh, hey, Burke. Hey, cop number 3. Can you pull up the speaker? And he's like, sure. And you get the dramatic thing where he's pulling up the speaker. And as he's about to pull it all the way up, the fucking flash comes through and he loses his head. And you get the really weird, fucking creepy part where he's headless and his body is just convulsing as they're like trying to pull it back onto the boat. Oh, dude, that was like, oh shit.
Yep. I don't think that's how that scene would have played out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was a gator that large, I think it would have clamped onto his head and neck and just pulled him off the boat.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, they're not, their teeth aren't designed for they're not serrated. To my knowledge, they're for grabbing.
And he would have had to, or it would have had to come parallel to the boat to get that.
Yeah, as wide as it is, it would have.
It would have hit.
Yeah. Also, I mean, most likely, it would have probably been what you said, Dan. It would have grabbed onto its head. It would have crushed it because the bite force on a 30-foot crocodile is astronomical. It's fucking insane. Crocodiles have one of the strongest bites in the animal kingdom. They're utterly insane. So yeah, he gets Burke loses his head, and also it's a very clean rip. It's like a clean cut. Have you ever seen Sleepy Hollow? Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. It looks like they took one of the prosthetics from fucking that movie. It was like, can we borrow it for this one? Because they came out the same year.
Oh shit, they could have. Who made this? What was the production?
20th Century Fox.
Did they do Sleepy Hollow?
I have no idea. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Dear, I want to go to Florida for vacation and go find an alligator.
Sleepy Hollow was distributed by Paramount.
Oh, but we could buy a bunch of baby alligators and just like sprinkle alligator seeds in our lake and just have Lake Placid everywhere.
What lake?
The one by us, Douglas.
Oh Lord.
Let's have you get alligator seeds.
We
and you throw
already
them
have
in
alligator.
No, the alligator guard. Those are. There's not really.
So earlier in the film, when Hector talks about how it could be a crocodile, it was like, well, how can a crocodile survive here? And he's like, well, as long as their nostrils don't freeze, they'll survive. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Crocodiles are cold-blooded, so when the weather becomes cold, their blood doesn't flow, and they die. Crocodile. That's why alligators and crocodiles don't live up north. Like Maine is farther than me, and it's fucking cold up there. Like when they get snow, they get fucking snow. It's like the Arctic. Crocodiles aren't living up there.
Well, I will say this though, for us, alligators are starting to migrate into southern central Tennessee, which
makes more sense. It's warmer for you guys.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys still get cold weather.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like migration, them migrating further north because they were never originally found in Tennessee, and now they're finding them in central southern Tennessee.
And also, he talks about how like somebody in Hong Kong flushed him down a toilet. Do the pipes connect from Hong Kong to Maine?
Clearly.
I don't think that's how it works.
No, it's the opposite side of the world thing.
Oh, I love it though. Did you see the line where the sheriff is like, crocodiles can't swim in salt water, and Hector goes, "That'll be our little secret."
Yeah, right.
There's literally a crocodile called a saltwater crocodile. You fucking moron. Sorry, Sheriff. I actually like you.
Which are the largest species of crocodile?
Yes, even though this crocodile is not a saltwater crocodile, it's an Indo-Pacific. Which
way to go, dear. As I told you.
Which is an actual crocodile species, but they're not. The largest crocodile on record, I believe, was shot in Australia in the 50s, and it was 27 feet long.
I'd ride that motherfucker,
which is just insane. And then the largest crocodile that was in captivity was like 20 and a half.
That's big.
That's a big crocodile.
Yeah.
That's dude, if you told me, hey man, I'll give you $1 million to swim with a great white shark without a cage, I'd 100% do it. If someone said I give you $1 million to swim with a saltwater crocodile, I would say you go fuck yourself and you could keep that $1 million. Crocodiles are fucking ruthless, dude.
Yes, they
are. When they talk about man eaters, dude, crocodiles are very aggressive. Their testosterone levels are like insane. No, thank you. People who swim in rivers in Australia, you're out of your minds. You're out of your minds.
Yeah, not only do you have to worry about that, but you have to worry about the shark that has the most shark attacks on humans. Bull sharks.
Bull sharks that can swim in fresh water.
Yes. But no, dude.
The world is scary.
Nature's scary.
The animal kingdom is scary.
Fucking brilliant.
The scariest thing around me is probably a moose or a black bear.
Dude, ooh, I don't know, man. That moose will fuck you up.
No, I'm like saying like those are probably the two most dangerous. Well, we do have pumas up here, but they're very rare. Well,
like
mountain lions. They're called up here.
Yeah, I don't like them.
We have bobcats. Bobcats are pretty dangerous, even though they're not very big.
Yeah, I don't like that. I've heard some horror stories about mountain lions. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff here.
We get another Jaws reference after the guys. He talks about somebody was one of the other another police officer was asking about like, did he get stuck in the outboard? Which is a reference to when they investigated Chrissy's death, and the guy originally put shark attack, but then he says, well, it could have been the outboard of the boat. So
no way to get stuck in the outboard.
Yeah. So we get another Jaws reference. We have another Hector and Sheriff conversation where Hector's trying to be, compassionate, and he's trying to, be like, hey, he was a good man. And you just get the Sheriff who's just like, yep. Mm-hmm.
He's like, Hector, I just don't think that either of us should talk to each other anymore.
Yeah.
He tries. He's like, in some crazy way, I'm sure you're a nice guy, but we just shouldn't talk to each other anymore.
Yep.
He's trying to be civil about it.
And Hector also goes into a conversation about a dream he has where he's headless.
Yes.
Which is just a great conversation to bring up.
That was after. Yeah, that's what the sheriff says after he hears his dream story. Yeah, that's what it was.
And then the sheriff gets stuck in a snare trap, and he's hanging upside down as Jack and Kelly walk over, and he's just stone faced, and it's just like
seething with rage.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you're gonna get him down. He's like, well, he only if he promises not to hurt me. And he's like, I promise I won't hurt you, Hector. He's like, okay, it's a counterweight, so you just got to pull down. So he pulls him down, and he's like, you promise you're not gonna hurt me? And he's like, I lied. And and that's where you get the little bit of that Irish accent comes out when he says it. Yeah. And then he chases him with a fucking log. I'm like, this dude's a sheriff, and he's chasing this dude with a fucking log around all these people. It's just crazy. They get to the edge of the lake, and there's the crazy thing is there's in this scene there is Hector, the sheriff, Jack, and Kelly. There's 4 people there. This scene doesn't make any sense. If there was 4 people, this bear wouldn't show up. This bear would have been like, people, I'm out.
Especially people being loud, running
and
around.
I don't know if brown bears are in Maine. I have to look that up. I don't think brown bears are in Maine.
I think brown bears are on the West Coast, aren't they?
Yeah, it's brown or grizzly, or I know brown bears and
Yeah.
grizzly bears are different, but this bear
Yeah,
was
brown-
not a black bear, which black bears are what are prominent over here in the East Coast.
Yeah, they're the smallest species of bear in the United States.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I know brown bears.
And
are
and I've
larger.
seen some big old black bears, so they're not small.
I've only seen
Yeah, we have
two
black bears here.
or two. Oh, did I tell you about the story about the one that when I was working up at the resort town near us?
No.
Because it's relevant. It's about a bear. So we're in the work van. I gotta tell a story. We're in the work van and we're in. I'll tell. I don't give a shit. We're in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's a tourist town in the mountains. There's a lot of bears around there. You've got all the dumpsters. They're all locked up because they keep bears out.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're just sitting there at a stoplight, but right in town, sitting there at the stoplight, and Ben's like, "There's a bear over here." Look over to the left. Bear walks right on the right side of a gas station, full of people and cars. Big brown bear, black bear, walks right through, moseys through traffic, and right inside of a fucking store their doors open on.
Yeah.
Just walks right in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably like 4.5 feet at the hip, 4.5 feet at the hip.
Yeah, and those are the bears that eat out of
On their
garbage
shoulder?
out of garbage cans, so they're not afraid of people because they know
Exactly.
they're the food source. So they literally just like, yeah, fuck it.
I was like, well, somebody's either gonna get hurt or somebody's gonna get killed here.
All right, but
Because
this-
bears can walk right
yeah.
into a crowded store.
I mean, I understand why this scene needed to happen, but this scene made no sense.
No, I
the
agree.
bear
Those
wouldn't have.
types of bears don't live there, so
Yeah, those bears don't live there. A bear wouldn't have done that in that situation, especially if two guys are being very like, especially the sheriff. He's a big guy and he's got a big log in his hand. The bear would have been like, oh fuck this, I'm out. Like,
And then the other two are yelling at him, Kelly and
yeah, like there's a
Jack
lot of
yelled-
noise going on. This bear, unless it was mating season or it was, the bear had cubs, this bear wouldn't have done this, but we have the scene for a reason. The bear comes out, it's very aggressive, goes on its hind legs and does its thing. And that's when we see the crocodile for the first time as it comes out, takes the bear out, and with the wonderful CG that's in this movie.
Oh yeah.
This scene didn't look terrible. It could have been worse, but it was pretty bad. But it grabs the bear, pulls it in, and everyone's like, okay, I believe you. It's a crocodile. And then we move on to the next scene where it is, they're looking up what kind of crocodile it is.
Yep.
They find out it's an Asian Pacific croc. Kelly is having a great time as she's fixing up Bill Pullman.
yeah.
It's like, people have died, and you think I'm having a great time? It's like, okay, is it showing? We get the really fun fight between the sheriff and Hector again, where he's just like, don't mess with me. I know karate. And then the sheriff fucking socks him in the face, and he's like, you say go in karate. You say go.
Yeah, like he asked for it. He's like, take your best. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
And then they walk away together, kind of arguing a little bit. He's like, I didn't say.
Oh man. Kelly and Jack, they bond as Jack's being healed up, and the sheriff and Hector bond over some croc videos, which are videos of Nile crocodiles, which are some big fuckers, hunting some wildebeest.
Yeah, that's cool.
So cool. Hector and the lady cop go for a ride in the croc copter, because yes, Hector's helicopter has crocodiles like scales on the side.
Cropter.
The cropter. The sheriff, Kelly, and Jack, they venture into the woods. They discover a footprint. So, of course, they do the cool thing like Bigfoot hunters do. They do the plaster of the footprint.
Yeah, plaster cast of it.
Yep. And then a severed head just pops out of the fucking bush. Like, what was this head? Was this head on a spring? It shoots out of that bush.
Yeah.
Like somebody threw it.
Number 2 for her.
Yeah. And of
Second head.
course, she freaks out again. And then it's funny because Kelly's the one that discovers that Mrs. Bickerman is dragging the cow down to the shore, because she's got the binoculars and she looks at Mrs. Bickerman, and then she puts it down and it's the crocodile just kind of just floating there, waiting for it, and is like, look into the lake about 10 feet. Oh, it's so fucking good. And I just Betty White just slaps the ass of the cow. I was like, come and get it. And the crocodile does its thing, which is the coolest thing, because we actually get It's what a crocodile actually does. It grabs the cow, it does the death roll.
Yep.
You don't, and then that's all you see. But then it cuts to them encountering Mrs. Bickerman, and she's like, I didn't do anything wrong. This is not illegal. And he's like, you lied to us. It's like, well, yeah, because you would have came here and killed it because you guys suck.
Yep.
And it's like, well, it's killed people. So yeah, we probably would have done something. She admits that she didn't kill her husband. Her husband actually was eaten by the crocodile because he was trying to rescue one of the horses that got too close to the water. And the croc went for the horse and got him, and that's how he died. And this is where we get so many fucking great lines from Betty White, where she's like, if I had a dick, I'd tell you to suck it.
This is where I tell you to suck it.
So great hearing it from Betty White. So fucking
man.
good.
I'll have to put that in the video.
Please.
just that clip.
Well, your husband burned you. You didn't by any chance lead him to the lake blindfolded.
If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it.
Oh man. She's just so good.
She admits to feeding the croc for 6 years.
Yep. Which would have been impossible. This crocodile would have been dead. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy, okay? Everybody is like, oh, it's just a movie. I know it's a fucking movie, but this is the whole point of the show. It's for me to do this shit, all right? Crocodiles, they can't survive. Crocodile, it would not survive. There's not enough, and for one, there's just not enough food source for this crocodile to grow that big.
No, not really.
This is a 30-foot fucking crocodile.
What would even be in that lake in Maine?
The only thing would...
I don't know what's in
the only thing in the lake is beaver and fish, and then it would have to hunt things on the land. It would have to hunt moose, which it's already gotten. And then the cows. I mean, she's been feeding them cows. Where's she getting all these fucking cows? She's just got a supplier. She's like, hey, for some reason, all 8 cows I had are fucking gone. I don't know what happened to them. I need more.
Wow.
And
go ahead.
Betty White was a huge animal lover. She was a huge spokesperson for PETA. So that's kind of why her character is the way she is. That's why she's so protective of the crocodile, even though she is feeding cows to it.
Yeah, it's natural.
Exactly. It's not like she was, just slaughtering the cows.
We do get a partial origin to the crocodile.
Do we? Well, I don't remember what it was.
All we get is she said that the crocodile followed her husband home one day.
Yep. And then they were feeding it. They fed it scraps and stuff, and then it stuck around. Which is like
explain it. Yeah, it doesn't explain how it even got there to begin with. Just that it followed him home one day.
You want crocodiles? That's how you get crocodiles.
Literally,
don't feed wildlife food, all right? Because what they do is they don't go away. Yep. My grandma she lived on a canal. She lived across the street from a lake, and then her house was connected to a canal. And she had alligators that would always swim in the canal. And her neighbor kept feeding this one alligator, like just scraps, just like Betty White does in this movie. And then he stopped feeding it, and he was wondering why the alligator never left. It literally would just sit there in the canal. Like, we used to go down to the canal, and this thing, we would be like 5 feet away from it. It was probably like 8-9 feet long. And just sit there, just staring at this dude's property, waiting for him to come down with food. He wouldn't even move. I bet you I could have jumped on its back. It wouldn't even have flinched.
And Parker wouldn't be here today.
Listen, man. When I was like 12 years old, I was this close to catching like a 4-foot crocodile that swam under a dock I was standing on. This close, man. I literally slowly put myself like on my belly. And I was within 6 inches of this thing. And as I was about to get it, he just fucking bolted. He was gone.
For Crocodile Hunter.
Yes.
Hell yeah. I wanted to be him. He's my hero. He still is.
That's why we have to, or a lot of people up in the mountains have to lock up their trash here because the black bears get into it.
Mm.
And then they expect it.
Well, then you get fucking dumb tourists around here that do exactly what you're talking about.
But no, they would start coming in town. We had a few in town.
Yeah.
By the highway in town.
Yeah. See, I haven't seen any. I've only seen 2 or 3 since I've lived here, and I've lived here for 12 years now.
But yeah,
I
they like expect it and they know that it's there, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
keep coming back.
I mean, I used to live on a mountain where we had black bears come through our yard all the time. And we used to have to like we had a shed, we had to put our garbage in the shed because there was one time we woke up, went outside, and literally our trash bin was tipped over, and we had our yard, and then there was a ravine that would go down and then up, and then it was our neighbor's yard, and it was just a trash trail all the way to our neighbor's.
Ugh,
Yes.
that hurts.
I had dogs that used to chase bears up trees. I was playing outside with my brother, and my dog was barking at the fence. I go over to the fence, and I look over, and it was all weeds growing on the other side, and all you could see was a big black mass walk by, and then two little ones, and I went, fuck. I ran as fast as I could to make sure my brother got in the house, but my dog was barking at it, and then of course as she separated the mom from the babies and chased the mom up the tree, I was like, I thought the dog was gonna die. Because mama bears are so protective. I was waiting for like just to hear like a dog squeal. I was terrified.
Well, because we could talk about animal stories. I got to talk about when I was in Mississippi. Quick one. We were staying. I went to Mississippi to collect spiders when I used to work at the spider lab. We had a little site called Granada collecting site. We stayed at these one people's houses that lived out in the sticks outside of Ole Miss. You're a football person.
Yeah.
Outside but they were out in the sticks a little bit, and that's where we stayed because they were researchers. Remember one morning I woke up really early and I walked outside. I remember I may have told you this at one point. I walked outside. They had a big property, but it was all lined with trees all the way around the property. Just really tall, narrow trees. I just remember walking out there. It was early morning. It was a cloudy, overcast day. I remember walking and looking to the right just through all the trees because they were like those trees where all the branches are up high and not down low, so you can kind of see through all the trees. And all I seen in the distance was a sizable, low to the ground black mass just moving through the trees in the distance, and it just vanished. I was like, I'm gonna go back in the house. I don't know what the fuck that was. I was like, I'm out.
The last story before we get back to the movie, because the episode will be like 3 hours long if we keep going with this. We go, me, my wife and the kids, we go hiking all the time because there's a lot of hiking trails where we live. And where I used to live, where I was growing up in the woods, there was a trail where we were walking, and literally we're like, man, that's a mighty big hoof print. A fucking moose print, bro. And it was fresh.
I thought it was Krampus, but carry on.
I mean, what would I rather run into? Krampus or a moose?
No, at that point.
Fuck, man. Those things are fucking scary, man. My dad watched a guy honk at a moose that was standing in the middle of the road, and the moose, instead of the moose getting out of the way, it charged at the car.
Yep, I believe
they have zero fear, man. And if you want to hit a moose, you better have ordered your coffin and fucking tombstone beforehand, because you're gonna die.
Yep.
Oh, actually, one more story.
Please.
The police chief of that town hit a moose with his motorcycle, and I think he lost part of his leg. And for his party, when he got out of the hospital, they had a cookout, and guess what the main course was? The moose.
Oh, the moose.
The moose. They got the meat from the moose and did a cookout. All right. Back to the movie, guys. Oh God, where am I? Hector goes for a swim and runs into the big boy or girl. We don't know if this is a male or a female. Because I don't know, because males actually grow bigger than females when it comes to crocodiles. So I think this was the male. The boat. I love how he's like, yep, this is bad. This is bad. I made a mistake.
Over my head here.
Yeah. And he uses the flotation to kind of distract the crocodile as he gets back on the boat or on the helicopter. He gets on the helicopter and starts to go up, and that's when the crocodile lunges out, grabs onto the part that lands in the water.
Yeah.
Which is a Jaws 2 throwback.
Yeah, so I was like, are we watching Jaws 2?
Yeah, literally. And it's really cool. I like the practical effect they got of the crocodile grabbing onto it. My wife laughed at this. She thought it looked bad. I was like, come on, it's practical effects. This is great. I'd rather see this than fucking terrible CG.
I've changed my mind. You can never bring her on this show. Just cannot do it. I just can't.
So it's time to come up with a plan to capture the croc. So Florida Fish and Game don't have to kill it. And everybody's like, no, we're going to kill this fucking thing. It's like, it's a 30-foot crocodile. This is unheard of. This is like,
Maine.
yeah, in Maine. Like, you're like, this is insane. So we got to borrow a cow, Mrs. Bickerman. And boy, we get some more lines. You're all cocksuckers. I didn't want to say it before.
Yeah.
But, you know.
That's so good.
Oh, man. They finally find the croc just as they are about to quit. They're about to call it a day. And they're like, oh, there's something on the radar. And then it shows up. And what does it do? It attacks the helicopter again, causing the helicopter to crash. Hector's fine. He's standing there on the side. He's like, I can't see it. And
what about the cow?
Yeah. Is the cow okay? Oh, I love it. The line that Kelly says where it's like, how's the cow doing? She looks like a giant tea bag.
Yeah.
She's floating.
Oh boy. So yeah, they find the croc. The croc does its thing, and then the sheriff gets to use his big old cannon. He's like really excited to use it. The croc, as the sheriff kind of wades himself into the water, the croc attacks, comes up on land, and this is where we get to see the really just, man, the CG just does not look good. I understand the budget wasn't very big, but boy, this just looks like sci-fi. This looks like a sci-fi movie CG. Like, it's just the crocodile is charging at the truck. You get a mix between where it flashes between the CG and the practical, as like the tail's moving and certain things, but as it's doing like fast motions, they have to do CG. Also, you know, the thing about crocodiles is there's a lot of people there, and crocodiles have very short energy spurts. So like when they attack an animal and they miss, they can't go back and do it again. They have to regain their energy before they can do it again. And so this crocodile is fucking hyped up on something, Drew, because he is fucking on the land. He's fucking galloping towards these fucking trucks.
Yeah, right.
And Jesus. We get the bad CG. I already said that. Kelly falls out of the truck because she just falls out of everything. And then falls into the water.
Yep.
And then they tell her to swim to Hector. They do, like, go under. And she swims on. Dude, that'd be the most terrifying goddamn thing in the world. Hey, you want me to go under the water? And you get to see where she's swimming down and the crocodile is just fucking booking it towards her.
Yeah, like, it's oddly bright out here tonight.
Yeah. So she
at night.
Yeah, right? She can't see a thing, but she can see this log in the water. That's this tree that's sitting there, and she hides behind it as the croc swims by. And then, of course, she gets her foot stuck. Why not? And, of course, as she's trying to get it out, the croc turns and does the thing where it bites down on the tree, and she's in the middle of its jaws. And it's actually a pretty cool scene because it's all practical. Oh, boy. This fucking ending is just crazy. Kelly makes it to Hector, and the crocodile attacks, but gets stuck in the chopper.
Yep. Into the chopper.
Yep.
Now.
And they're like, kill it. Shoot it with the cannon, Sheriff. And he's like, I can't. It's trapped. And then the freaking Jack, he picks up a rifle that looks like it's a fucking Red Ryder BB gun. And everybody's like, don't do it, shit. And then he shoots another dart. I'm like, did you really think when he picked up that gun that he was going to kill this 30-foot croc with that thing? I didn't. It literally looked like a Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah, well.
What kind of gun was it?
I don't know.
Was it just a trank gun?
I
mean, it shot a trank dart.
I know the weapon the sheriff has, his little grenade launcher thing isn't real. It's fake.
Yeah, it's a fake gun.
But as far as what you use, it is. No. It's no, it's real crocodile fake gun. Right? Anyway, yeah, back to what you were talking about earlier. That's why I thought it took so much longer for the darts to take effect, because he gets a good shot underneath them early on. Like when it rears up or whatever, Bill Pullman's character, I think, gets a shot in like the lower part of its body.
Yeah.
Early on. I just assumed it was because it was an endotherm or ectotherm with a slower metabolism, so it took longer for the tranquilizing agent sedative to cycle through the body.
Yeah.
Watch him just kill it with that other dart.
So
just loaded it up.
Yeah. So we see the second. So then we're like, it's over, yay! And then what happens? Another crocodile comes out of nowhere.
Attacks Hector.
Pulls him in a little bit, and the sheriff gets to blast its head off. It wasn't part of the original script. It was a last minute addition because they wanted some carnage. There wasn't enough death, I guess.
He had to let him use his gun, dude.
Because all the main characters live, and the crocodile lives. The antagonist lives. Like, it's like, well, now we need somebody to die, so they inserted a second crocodile, and they killed it.
This movie essentially flipped both sides of those horror tropes on their heads.
Mm-hmm.
Where the core part heroes and the antagonists survive.
Yep.
Good for this movie. Good for doing something different and making it entertaining.
Good job, Lake Placid. Everybody says their goodbyes. We got Hector, who's on the stretcher, and the sheriff goes with him. And Kelly, hangs out with Jack, and we get this really awesome thing because these two need to fall in love for some stupid ass reason. Here we are.
Most important thing: the cow is safe.
Yes, the cow is safe.
Fine.
The cow is safe.
You see the cat walk out of the water. I was like, yes.
Oh, I do want to mention another great Betty White line going back is when she's sitting with that cop, and she's like, like, I really hope the crocodile eats all your friends.
Yeah, she says, I'm rooting for the crocodile. I hope he swallows your friends whole. You might want to arrest me for that, too. Is it a crime to wish a chewing of law enforcement?
Betty White, you fucking legend.
Dude,
she's so good.
You're sitting here talking, and I see this line on screen, and I'm starting laughing to myself. It's such a great fucking line.
Oh, God, it's so good. Everybody says their goodbyes in the worst way. I hate this part. And then we see Mrs. Bickerman. She goes to the end of her dock with a bag of bread, and she gets to feed some baby crocs. Which, and when they show them, they kind of look like real crocodiles. Like, they moved very fluently. Which, even if the baby crocodiles, fuck that, and they put my toes in the water. Those little fuckers, they got needle sharp teeth, man.
No, fuck that shit.
I've been bitten by a baby alligator. That shit's fucking hurts.
You can't take a cow by eminent domain.
Yeah.
It just did.
Yeah.
God, dude, the writing is ridiculous and amazing.
All I gotta say is bravo to whoever wrote all of Betty White's lines. And if no one wrote her lines, if she just improvised them all, it just shows how much of a legend Betty White was or is. She still is.
So good.
Her spirit lives on.
There's a few scenes in the Golden Girls where she has improvised the whole story that she tells, all her stories that she tells. So
this is the best.
She's good.
This is the best giant crocodile movie that has Betty White in it.
Oh man, there's so many fucking large crocodile movies. We got Rogue, we got Primeval.
There was another one around. There was of course Crocodile we talked about.
There was Dark Water, I think, or
wasn't it
Black Water?
Yeah,
that was based on a true story or something. Oh, there was
Alligator.
There was Alligator, and then there was Crawl, which came out a couple years ago. But it wasn't about it wasn't about a large alligator. It was just about alligators that were just for some reason hostile during a hurricane or something like that. It was a weird movie. At some point, we're gonna talk about it because it's a fucking wacky movie.
What about Gator Man? I'll get you yet, Gator Man. From the 50s.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry.
So Mrs. Bickerman feeds baby crocs, which would be dead very soon. And we get some cool reggae music because that fits with this movie.
Oh, hang on. Hold on. What's our oldest appearing giant crocodile on screen?
Oldest?
Oldest movie with a giant crocodile.
It's
either The Lost World from the late 50s.
The Arthur Conan Doyle Lost World.
Yeah, but the shitty one from the late 50s.
Yeah.
Or it's King Dinosaur from the late 50s because they literally had the Tyrannosaurus, or the big main dinosaur, was literally an alligator that they glued fins and shit onto. And it was supposed to be a dinosaur.
That's legendary right there.
I'm going to say that's the oldest giant crocodile in cinema history.
And
that
then,
wasn't supposed to be a crocodile.
Yeah. And then our final scene is seeing the crocodile being transported on the back of a flatbed with like 3 fucking straps on it. How much sedatives does this thing have? Because that thing wakes up, it's fucking whack. It's coming out of those restraints. But hey, let's not question that.
I will say, if you were younger, or if you were driving down the road and you saw an alligator that big on a flatbed, crocodile that big on a flatbed, the prop, that would have been dope as fuck.
Oh, that would have been cool as hell. That's it. That is Lake Placid.
Lake Plastic. It was The Lost World from 1960.
I'm
going to send you a picture.
The heck?
It looks kind of like Anguirus, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's literally just a crocodile with fucking... I'm gonna save this picture and send it to you. And it literally battles and monitor a lizard in real life. Like, it's back before animals had proper rights on screen and they would actually show footage of animals being hurt and or killed.
Yeah.
Like, what slasher movie was that? Friday the 13th, part 2, 3? One of them, they killed an actual snake on set. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. Because I made mention of that.
All right. Well, that is it. That's Lake Placid. And what a movie. I'm very happy we covered it. It's unfortunately the reasoning behind us covering it is because of the passing of Betty White. Even though I feel like we would have covered this movie at some point, but it felt right because she's just so good in this movie. She's just comedy gold. Comedy gold. Yes. For our next episode, I think I want to do a topic episode before we hop into and then after our topic episode, we're going to hop into a large franchise. I don't know what that franchise is yet, so nobody asked me yet. But since we have a lot of sequels that have come out in the last couple years. I really would like to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to sequels.
Yes.
Because there are good ones. There are bad ones. And then there are fucking god-awful ones.
Yes.
So we are going to just kind of go through some of our favorites. We'll go through some that are, enjoyable to watch, but bad. And we've talked about some really bad sequels on this show. And then we'll talk about the ones that should just never have existed. So that'll be next week's episode. We'll do a nice topic episode for you all. And then we'll announce in that episode what big franchise we're going to start.
Excited. We don't know. We don't know.
I don't even know, to be honest. I don't even know. I just figured we'd do that and then hop into a franchise. There's a lot of them out there we can choose from. I know, Batman has been thrown out there. We could do the Batman franchise. There's just a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And I'm excited.
Evil.
I'm Batman.
Who are you?
Good
I've been watching the show. Me and my wife have been watching the show Dope Sick on Hulu.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
And it's got Michael Keaton in it. And I'm just sad because it's like, it's about the Oxycontin epidemic from the mid 90s into it's actually, I think it's still a thing today. Not as bad as it once was, but I'm always like, man, Michael Keaton, you can do this, man. You were Batman.
I know it's not the same actor, but at any time during the movie, does he ever yell, "Where did the drugs go?" Or the show? Has he ever?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
No. But I highly recommend you guys watch it. It's a really good watch. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. It was a lot of fun talking about this movie. Is definitely a great movie to start off 2022.
Hell yeah.
Before we sign off, I do want to say we also lost we lost a couple big presence in the entertainment world. We lost Sidney Poitier, who was a pioneer in film throughout the 50s and 60s, and his career stretched all the way, I believe, until the 2000s. But he was a pioneer when it came to African Americans in cinema. Winning an Oscar back in the 50s was, for a person of color, that was unheard of. So he lived to be in his 90s. So a great life for a legend. So RIP to Sidney Poitier. And then yesterday, as of this recording, we lost one of the coolest TV dads of all time, Bob Saget, the father from Full House, and he was also a comedian. It's crazy just because my daughter just got into Fuller House. We just watched that whole series, and then they wanted to watch the original show, and he's so good in it. And it's definitely like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like all these people we've been losing over the last couple months. So yeah, I just wanted to shout them out. Definitely a big loss when it comes to Hollywood, along with Betty White. So yeah, next week we are doing a topic episode. We're going to be talking about sequels. And then on that show, we will announce what franchise we're going to be hopping into. And I'm very excited. Very excited. We haven't done a franchise in a bit, so it'd be good to jump. It'd be good to jump back in. All right, everybody. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film, and this has been the Dissect That Film podcast, episode 37. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.